The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello, everyone. Dear souls, it is so good to have you here. Raphael has messages for you and private messages if you desire. All you have to do is email us at angelbettyray@gmail.com and we can give you a private message just for you. There's no charge, and I know that surprises people, but in all of my 80-some years, I have been given so much. I'm simply giving it back. They say pay it forward, and I'm doing that. And as you can see by the lovely stained glass angel over here, that this is one of the blessings, to have a vision of something that I would like and to have it become a reality. And that's what you are learning to do. As the co-creator with God, you are learning how to create what you desire, what you need in this world. And that's why I'm going back to Raphael's book, and I do hope you have purchased your own now so that you can see this Raphael, Ask Raphael. And it's been many, many years in the making, because the questions that people have asked us throughout, over 50 years of doing this is now in book form. And today we're going to talk about chapter 9, and it's what is my purpose for being here? I know there are so many people that ask that question, and you ask it daily. Well, why did that happen? What was the purpose of that? And that is something that we're going to talk about today, or at least Raphael's going to talk about it, because again, I have the earphones on so that I can read the book. Otherwise, we get static when I hold it up. So this is chapter 9, what is my purpose for being here? And Raphael says, your purpose for being here is to know yourself. Begin now to clarify what you believe to be true. And he says, beloved soul, you do not know how powerful you are. Believe in yourself. To prove this, keep a daily record of your ideas and beliefs and what you did about them. We do not make light of this. Your power is in your emotions. I'm going to repeat that. Your power is in your emotions. They are constantly creating your life. In order to bring forth an idea, you must trust and believe that you can make an abstract idea a reality. In order to do this, you must raise your consciousness out of those negative emotions of anxiety, fear, anger, and frustration into a positive belief that all is possible. You must lift your heart and mind and soul into joyful emotions, allowing you to imagine your desires becoming a reality within your world. This is only the first step. And he goes on to say, once you clasp an idea to your heart, you must hold fast within your mind. And remember that becoming excited about them and constantly being open to new ideas as to what to do next can turn an abstract idea into a physical reality. We have given the example earlier of how Ray created a beautiful rug without previous knowledge of the art form. We will always lead you to create whatever we place before you. We will never offer an idea without the means to achieve its goal. Now, we have talked about the rugs that we've created, and if you go to our webpage, which is Angel Betty Ray and Raphael .com, Angel Betty Ray and RAPHAEL.com, because Raphael is spelled a couple of different ways. So you go to the webpage and you'll see these rugs that I was inspired to create. They came from Spirit. That first rug, called the Symbols rug, was I was shown the design in my mind. I had never seen this kind of rug hooking before. Most people had never heard of it before. And so this was a gift from Spirit. And when I finally found somebody that knew what we were talking about and was able to find the materials, I went about hooking a rug that was not just a small rug, it was 4 feet by 6 feet. And I found people online that could give me the materials to do it. Actually, I actually went to the store about an hour away from my home and found this beautiful 100% wool cloth that I could make into a rug. And so if you go online at Angel Betty Ray, ANDRAPHAEL.com, you'll see the rug. And you'll begin to understand how we have a purpose. And the purpose for creating that rug has brought so much wonderful things to me, so many wonderful things that I can't begin to express the purpose for it, that I had no idea. I just followed the idea that came to me. I took that quantum leap of faith and I began searching how to create what I was seeing in my mind. This is how God works through you to bring beauty and goodness into the world. You are a being of light. You're a light worker. If you are paying attention, if you are here on this show, or if you tune into it at iHeartRadio or some of Pandora and some of the other radios, stations, you have been given that inspiration to follow the ideas that Raphael is presenting to you. And so today's one is to concentrate on what is your purpose. And what does Raphael say right out in front? He says to know yourself. And this is why keeping a journal is a great way to figure out how you are creating your world, because your emotions are a key factor in that. So if you're full of negative emotions like anger and frustration and all kinds of stuff that make you very uncomfortable, then you're creating an uncomfortable future, because how you think right in this moment is how your world will be in the next moment. So if you're full of joy, and if you're full of the trust in God that all your needs will be met this day and every day of your life, if you have trust in that, you will be amazed at how you will be given the information of what to do. So your purpose is, first of all, to know yourself, to know how you think and how you create. And that's a way to do it, is to keep a journal of your emotions. Not what you did today. You went to the store, you bought groceries. No. You went to the store, as you were standing in line, a woman cut ahead of you and it really ticked you off. That's what you want to find out about. How did you handle that situation? Was your emotion of anger what took over and you shoved that woman aside, and then you ended up with a tussle and they had to have the manager come and, ooh, did you really want to create that story in your life? Or did you graciously bow in front of that person or behind that person and say, you must really be in a hurry. I'll let you go ahead of me. What a difference. It's emotions, and it's learning to know yourself. All right, so what Raphael says, once you clasp an idea to your heart, you must hold it fast within your mind. Become excited about it and constantly be open to new ideas as to what to do next to turn that abstract idea into a physical reality. All right. He goes on to say, we have given the example earlier of how Ray created a beautiful rug without previous knowledge of the art form. We will always lead you to create whatever we place before you. We will never offer an idea without the means to achieve its goal. Well, believe me, becoming a hooker kind of changed my life. My husband had a lot of fun with that, telling his friends, I married a hooker. And of course, they would take one look at me up and down and they'd go, rugs, huh? And I would say, my gosh, that's an insult. But it was the truth. I was a rug maker. So when you are inspired to manifest an abstract idea, act upon it until a roadblock stops you. Then lift up your emotional fuel tank, or fill up your emotional fuel tank with determination to continue until you are successful. It may mean being patient while you wait for the next idea that moves you forward. And it might mean researching everything you can about your desire. It may mean speaking to others who may have valuable input. It does mean patience and trust that the idea you have been given is for you to make a reality. So, what is your purpose? When you get an idea, follow it through. Again, you may run into a brick wall. Don't get your nose bruised on the brick wall. Just step back and say, okay, I've gone as far as I can go here. I'll wait until you give me a new instructions and then I'll move forward again. If you can take that kind of an attitude, you'll be amazed at the things that you will be inspired to bring into this world. And it is the purpose that you are given in that moment. Every idea is only for you to create. You explicitly have the character, have the idea, have the purpose, have the know-how to make that a reality. Now, believe me, becoming a hooker was not what I had planned. But when I did, it opened up a whole new world of an art form that brought new friends into my life and made a wonderful opportunity for me to have fun going to rug hooking weekends, whole weekends, where all of us rug hookers would sit around and chat and have our beautiful work displayed in front of us. I have a picture somewhere at a show where this great big rug that I'm working on now, which is 11 foot long and 7 feet wide, it people were just they were just mouth dropped because somebody to tackle a rug that big, only Betty Ray, who totally trusts her Archangel Raphael to lead her where she needs to go, could do something like that. That's not true. It isn't just Betty Ray, it's all of you out there that learn to trust your own angels' guides and to trust that those ideas are for you to create. You are a co creator with God. You will be given everything you need if that idea comes into your mind. Don't throw it away. Don't say, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. Don't do that to yourself because it's not true. Your purpose in life is given to you every single day with the work that you have chosen to do, with the people that you will meet along the way. That is your purpose in that moment, to be a joyful being of light to others. Okay, going on. Raphael says to discover your purpose for being on planet Earth at this moment in time, we suggest you begin by probing your desires and beliefs. Only through your belief system can you alone define what inspires you to create. You cannot even remember all the times you have created a solution to a problem, all um, to a problem, and how or felt inspired to work on a project that would take a long time commitment. Think of the one or two of those times now. Write down your accomplishments, your successes, your creations that were just for fun, and rejoice in them. He goes on to say, we suggest you spend an hour in meditation with pen and paper to sort through all the concepts you have about who you are and what God is, about the precepts of your religious background or lack of, everything about what you perceive as truth. And he put this in bold print in the book. We repeat the suggestion that you keep a daily log of discoveries in how you create everyday events, good and bad, and your emotional reaction to them. This is not a diary of what you did that day. Rather, it is an accounting of how you reacted emotionally to the people and events you encountered throughout your day. As you uncover your negative thoughts and emotions, you can take the first step to eliminating them and thus become free to create a more prosperous and happy life. So that's your purpose, everyone. Your purpose first of all, is to be happy. Now, that may sound frivolous because nobody can be happy all the time. We know that. We're going to have challenges and we're going to have tears. But through it all, when you have trust and when you believe in yourself and know that you are always doing what you think is for your highest good and for the highest good of all those around you, when that is your purpose, you can't go wrong. You may blunder, you may upset somebody because what you thought was good for them turned out it wasn't. Sometimes you can't step on other people's stage and try to redirect their show. We have a lot of good friends that try to do that because they're helpers. They were born to help. And so they often get in the way of another person's story. And they get into trouble because of that, because their friends don't want to have them up on their stage telling them how to direct their show. But their heart is always in a good place. Now, Raphael goes on to say about your purpose you create the laws that govern your life to keep you safe and happy. So make a list of, quote, thou shalt nots, unquote, regarding your relationships. Where do you, quote, draw the line, unquote? What makes you angry? What hurts your feelings? Record all emotional reactions in order to learn each day's many purposes and how you are fulfilling them. When you study any encounters that break your laws, you will begin to eliminate some and create new ones. Okay. Hmm. Well, somebody just came in and said hi. So we say hi back to you. And thank you for being with us. Okay, so going on now in Raphael's book. An accounting of your daily decisions is another way to become aware of your beliefs that created them in your life. While humankind has created more laws than one can count, God only has one law, the law of love. It supersedes all other commandments and spiritual laws relating to the evolution of the human spirit. Humans continue to break laws to serve the safety and justice of honest people against those who would serve their own selfish purposes. Had it not been for the injustice done to Moses' people, there would not have been the Ten Commandments. These are still powerful guidelines for the soul on its journey through a foreign land. Moses' people had a need for a real, solid, visible God, and it led them to create a false one. People are still creating false gods today in their worship of the body's beauty and their focus on prosperity and abundance through what money can buy. Let us review Moses' ancient commandments with a fresh perspective from the soul's viewpoint, remembering that Moses' story came when his people were driven out of Egypt to flee for their lives. Remember also, they followed a strict belief system with many rules and regulations. The gift of these simple commandments was to return Moses' people to those beliefs in the one God of their faith. Okay, let me get the page turned here. So we're going to review the Ten Commandments with the purpose of seeing things a little bit differently. The first commandment is, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt not have no other gods before me. And Raphael goes on to say, for each person, God becomes a personal deity who will inspire, uplift, and guide the person throughout their life. There are many names for God. Many beginner souls fear God and act out of that fear. God is pure energy and pure love. God sees you as perfect exactly as you are. That's quite a bit different than a lot of people believe, isn't it? God sees you perfect exactly as you are. Hold on to that. So, the second commandment, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. And Raphael says, reverence for the person's name for God can also be a means of condemning other names in a righteous belief their God is the only right God. Hi, Johnny. Good afternoon to you, too. She says, purpose, what a perfect day for this chapter. Oh, thank you. She is saying thank you because this is perfect for her to see this. Okay, third commandment. Remember to keep holy the Sabbath day. Raphael says every day is the Sabbath when the advanced soul realizes they are one with God and that God is everywhere and in everyone. Okay? So the fourth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother. And Raphael says, being respectful of your parents, even if you no longer follow their beliefs, is to respect their gift of life to you. Sometimes this is not possible when the parents' commands are not in alignment with your soul's story. It takes great courage to go against the plans of your parents for you. It does not mean to abandon them in their time of need. That's something to think about. The fifth commandment, thou shalt not commit murder. Raphael says, taking another's life in battle, when it is either your life or another's, is not murder. Taking a life for your personal gain is murder, and may create a lifetime when your life may be taken in like manner. For each life seeks balance for your soul. God's law of cause and effect is simply the law of balance. Each soul will experience all things, all emotions, and gain great wisdom from it. The sixth, thou shalt not commit adultery. Perhaps it might be better to say, thou shalt not break a promise. If you agree to remain faithful until death do you part, then the breaking of that vow can only be made at the mutual agreement between the partners. To break the vow without the person's knowledge will bring about a great deal of grief and pain. And what you do unto others shall be done unto you as well. This is Raphael still speaking. The seventh commandment, thou shalt not steal. So, he says, whatever you do to the least of God's creations, you do unto God for the oneness that shall not be ignored. Beginner souls who steal are always greatly surprised and indignant when someone steals from them. Lessons can be repeated many times in many lives before they are learned. So, there you have the purpose of lessons. Although Raphael told me a long time ago, don't speak of lessons. Being a teacher, you know how if you say to your students a test is coming up, they get all tense and they get all upset and they can't be their best. So if you learn that every day is an opportunity for you to gain new knowledge, and that knowledge brings your soul wisdom, and that's what raises you up along the path to oneness. And we're one with God all the time anyway, but that oneness and knowing it and understanding it are two different things. So we go on. The seventh commandment, thou shalt not steal. Whatever you do to the least of God's creations, you do unto God, for the oneness shall not be ignored. Beginner souls who steal are always greatly surprised. I guess I read this, haven't I? And indignant when someone steals from them. Well, repeating doesn't hurt. Lessons can be repeated many times in many lives before they are learned. And the eighth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. This covers the other commandments of honesty, integrity, compassion, and love. Lies about another will bounce back with lies made about you. The ninth commandment, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Whew. And he goes on to say, the pleasures of the flesh can lead to many kinds of negative results when indulged without concern for the ties that bind one to another. It can disrupt the body both emotionally and physically. For disharmony creates internal negative emotions that can result in illness or in upheaval in one's outer world. And the 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. He goes on to say with that, envy toward another, perhaps, because you do not believe they deserve what they have acquired in physical treasures, are emotions that disturb the body's energy and can lead to a disruption in the body's health or in the life's flow of positive experiences. So judge not, lest you be judged, because you're the one that'll end up judging yourself. That's the way it works. When you cross to the other side, yes, you do have a life review, but you're the one that reviews it and decides if you fulfilled your soul's purpose or not. You don't have somebody over there as a judge. That doesn't happen because God loves you unconditionally. And again, we say, even though it might disturb people, there is no hell. There might be what you call a purgatory, because there are times when you will not, when you cross over in death and you just don't accept it, you keep clinging to the earth, you're in purgatory because you're caught between heaven and the earth. Not heaven and hell, but heaven and the earth. When you let go of all of the people and all of the things you wanted to accomplish, and you breathe a sigh of relief, your spirit just floats right into heaven. It's the natural place for it to go. But that's for another day when we talk about life after death. So, what are your commandments? Raphael asks. What are the rules your soul follows throughout your life? How do these rules serve your purpose for being here on planet Earth? How do they make you happy? How do they keep you content? Or how do they lead you into uncomfortable dramas that drain your emotional energy? By keeping a daily log of your responses to each emotional expression and who, what, or how it was triggered, you will gain more power over the direction of your life to bring about more happy resolutions to problems and more creations that will delight and please you. Pretty powerful, huh? When you ask for your purpose, look at how you think. Look at what your emotions are doing. Are they happy emotions? And if so, you will have happy experiences. But if they're angry, if they're frustrated, if you're blaming other people for what's wrong in your world, you're not going to know happiness. Now, going on with Raphael, he says, open your mind and to those and who, what makes you happy, to those people and what makes you happy, and discover who and what makes you unhappy. Once you begin to awaken to how your life evolves through your decisions made from your emotional responses, you will be halfway home. So, today's message is, what is my purpose in life? Raphael said it very simply, and he means it because this is what God says. Your purpose is to be happy. And if you are not happy, you need to examine the decisions and the choices that you've made in life that brought you to where you are now. If you're in an unhappy relationship and you've done everything you can, including counseling or at least sitting down and talking things over, trying to discover what it is that made you unhappy and what you can do to fix it. And if that isn't possible, if your partner is refusing to get any kind of communication going, then it might be time to break that relationship, to move on, to do something else. And sometimes, as with people that we have counseled, the relationship strengthens when you're willing to let it go because the partner has a new evaluation of what that relationship was all about in the first place. And that new evaluation of being without may change that person's viewpoint. But you don't do it to make a person change. That's the biggest mistake you could make. If you are not happy with your purpose in life, what you believe it to be, then sit back and examine what you would like it to be, because your joy is how you get one with God, how you become one with God. By being a joyful creator with God, you will learn that everything you do on this earth has a consequences. If you do it with love and joy, bringing your emotions way up there and out of the muddy waters of anger and frustration and oh, I have to do this, or I should do this, or I ought to do that. Don't use those words. Those words are not going to make you happy. And your purpose is to be happy. Wow. That seems like almost impossible because number one, you lost your job during the pandemic. There's no money coming in. You might have to go get food at the food bank. That's embarrassing when you were an individual who could pay your own bills. There's a lot of frustrated people and a lot of reasons for being frustrated in today's world. We've had a terrible time with this virus that has killed many people. Now we have a vaccine, and yet we have people who are afraid to have the vaccine for fear the vaccine will kill them. And so they don't. And so we still have people spreading the virus, and it's their free will. It's their purpose to decide what it is they want to experience in life. And if they decided that the vaccine is not for them, then let's hope they wear a mask so that if they are carrying the virus and have no symptoms of it, they're not spreading it to someone else who, like them, has not gotten the vaccine. That's only the honest thing to do. Their purpose is to be honest and to say, I choose not to get the vaccine, but I will wear a mask to protect myself from you and you from me. Now, that's only one purpose, and that sounds like a judgment on my part, but it is a way of knowing how decision making creates your life and your purpose. And so when you decide to be of a higher purpose, when you decide that your purpose in life is to be here to gain knowledge and wisdom so that you can eventually move to a higher plane of awareness, the more compassion and love and tolerance that you have for others, the more you will show to others your advancement on that path to enlightenment. When you are judging others and you are blaming others for your not being happy, then you are still climbing that hill to perfection because you can't blame anybody else but yourself if things are not the way you want them to be. Now, you can't blame yourself for the pandemic or for the fact that you lost your job. You can't blame yourself. You don't blame. That's the whole point. You accept what is. That's your purpose in that moment. To be realistic enough to know it's nobody's fault. And you can't go back to China and blame them for the pandemic. It would have been everywhere anyway. But when we are blaming other people, we talked last week, I think, or the week before about the blame game. When you are in the blame game, you're not being honest with yourself. And your purpose is to be honest with yourself so that you can be the creator of your life and know happily that your life is because you have consciously and with love made your decisions each moment of your life. When you do it with a sense of love and faith and trust in God, you will find that your decisions always reap wonderful results. Your purpose, then, dear ones, is to know, love, and serve God with all your heart, mind, and soul. However you perceive that God to be, whatever name you give it, it is your belief because you've been created to be on this planet at this time with that faith, and it is therefore perfect for you. There is no judgment by God by what you choose to believe. There's never any judgment from God. God dwells within you as the life that gives you breath. That's pure love with no judgment. Now, there are people that believe that God is a wrathful God and that God is going to send fire and brimstone down on those who do not follow the plan that is given to the wise souls in the ages. every person that is on this planet is doing the best they can. And that's all that's expected of them from God. And so don't you be a judge and jury of other people. Don't you have a faith that is so rigid that you cannot allow others to believe as they choose, because that is what free will is about. And everybody, no matter what they call God, are all speaking to the same divine love that is there for everyone. So, what is your purpose? Yes, your purpose is to be happy. And how do you do that? By overcoming any kind of roadblocks that are in your way to happiness. And if you are in a situation where it seems you have no choice, where you're in a relationship where you think you cannot leave, if you're in a situation where you feel you are stuck, then take a deep breath and make sure that that breath goes down all the way to your gut and not in your shoulders. Make sure that when you breathe deeply, it is a cleansing breath, and that you breathe in the divine love, the divine wisdom, and you call upon that to help you know what decision to make. What is your purpose in life right now for the decision you have to make next? That's all you can do. One moment, one purpose at a time. So when people say, "What is my purpose in life?" I say to them, you have a multitude of purposes, and you will only know which ones you have to pay attention to in each moment of your life, in each day of your life. So your purpose basically is to be happy. Can you imagine? That's as simple as that. And if you're not happy, you will be given the wisdom and the knowledge of what to do to make it happy. It doesn't mean robbing a bank. It doesn't mean leaving your partner. It means that you will do in the moment, the tiny, precious moment, what you need to do to be happy. And that's your purpose. So if we look at it that way, it sounds pretty selfish, doesn't it? But dear one, it isn't selfish at all. It's listening for the divine purpose within you, as the angels will instruct you each moment. What is your purpose? And if you are guided by the divine principle of love, there is no other. If you are guided by love, you will have compassion, you will have patience and understanding with others, but you will not allow others to dictate to you what your life should be and how you should feel. Only you can decide that, you and God together, because your purpose is to be happy. And if you're not happy, then you've got to figure out what do you need to do to change it so you can be happy. Now, if you got laid off, you're going to look for a job. And we've got a president who's trying to take care of that, offering many different kinds of jobs. Things are going to get better. We have the pandemic under control, even though there are new variants, as they call it, out there, and you might have to have a booster shot or whatever. But people are working behind the scenes to make all of your problems have a solution. And you have to work behind the scenes to make all of your problems go away because you've found a solution. That's your purpose. In order to be happy, you have to make the problems go away. And some people are so blessed they don't have any problems. I count myself as one of them. I have been blessed in so many ways throughout my life to have this radio show, TV show, to be able to share with you an amazing archangel's wisdom. And for that, again, we're going to do a little ad here. We want you to go to Amazon.com and buy our book, Ask Raphael. It has so much wisdom packed in it. And when you do that, also go online and give it a rating, because that will help to raise it up, and it might even become a bestseller if you help do that. So thank you. We've got Raphael's book on Amazon, Ask Raphael, and you can go to my Amazon.com, and there's the buy thing right down there below the screen. So do go, buy the book, and for yourself. Because if your purpose is to be happy, and whose isn't? If your purpose is to be happy, this is the book that's going to help you to be happy because it will help you to understand what you do have control over in your life and what you don't have control over, which is other people. You can't make somebody else love you, but you can make yourself love you. You know, you have the power to love your soul that is God in action within you. Your soul has a purpose. And that purpose, first of all, is to explore a physical world and to be happy when you discover all kinds of new things. And to be unhappy, because that's your free will, when you discover things you don't like. And if it's something you can do something about, like many young people are now getting into politics. They don't like the way the politics are going. And so they're getting right on the bandstand and they're telling people what they believe is the right way to go. And good for them. Good for you. But don't follow the extremists. Especially pay attention to what's negative. If they are talking about what's wrong all the time and not having a solution to make it right, then I don't think you want to follow them. So your purpose is to make sure you follow that which will bring about God's beauty and goodness in the world, and not negativity, not fear, not anxiety, for those are the things that will make you unhappy. Okay, so any questions? Johnny, got any questions for us? I'm glad that you say this is a perfect day for this chapter, and she thanked us, because we all need to know that our purpose is simply to be happy. And if we're not happy, start looking at what it is that makes you angry. Now, if it's something you can't do anything about, then take a deep breath and send divine light and angels to the situation of which you have no control, but which your love and your compassion is a way of raising consciousness. So you do have control. You do have the opportunity to put in your 2 cents worth, which is your purpose in that moment. If there's something you don't like, speak out. See what you can do to change it. And if you can't change it, your purpose is to, number one, look at it and pray about it. And number two, let it go. If you can't do anything about it, let it go and let the angels take care of it. When you give the angels a job to do, they're very good at doing it. So don't hesitate to ask them to take care of something that you would like to see happen. Now, be careful, because if it's something that will cause harm to another, what's going to happen is it's just going to bounce right back. It's a boomerang. Boom, out it goes. Boom, right back it comes and socks you in the chin. So be careful what you ask for. Your purpose is to ask for only goodness and light and peace and harmony. And if it's anything less than that, when you ask for it, it's you who will get it. So think about that. Okay. So here again, we've got this whole chapter, which is chapter 9, about what is my purpose for being here. And Raphael has said, your purpose is to be happy. That seems to make it simple. On the other hand, sure, you'd be happy with $1 million and you didn't have to worry about finances, but that's not reality. That's not what your purpose is. So don't ask the angels to help you win the lottery. And don't spend a lot of money buying tickets so you can win the lottery. That's really not for you to create. Some people will have that experience, and so many of them, if you read their stories, it's not always a happy experience because they got people asking, gimme, 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 gimme. So be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. So, what is your purpose again? First of all, to decide what makes you happy. And if what you are experiencing right now, because of the pandemic, there's nothing you can do about it, you've done what you need to do if it's get a vaccine, and now you're hoping to get your job back, you're hoping things will turn back to normal, and you'll get your job back, or you have learned to create a job, as a friend of mine has done. And so be inspired. When you are inspired to do something, don't just look at it and say, I can't do that. If you are inspired, you can do it. You simply have to take it step by step. You can't make a quantum leap from the idea to its finale. It's got to have a step by step process to get there. Okay, Johnny says, several people around me have died or are dying. I know I have a purpose in helping with this. Just searching. I'm looking here. Just searching. I didn't see anything more. Searching. Okay. Sometimes there you are inspired to work with the people who have died to help comfort them, or with those who are in the process of dying, and that's where you have hospice. And if this is something that you are feeling a draw to, check out hospice. Become a hospice person. There, where your beliefs and your love and your compassion, Johnny, can have a great impact on those people who have lost someone and need to have, uh, um, well, you can't impose your beliefs on them, but need to have somebody to hold their hand or put an arm around them or allow them to cry on your shoulder. Sometimes words don't do it, but the touch of the human hand, the arm around someone, is what is needed. Excuse me. Here we go. So, whatever you are drawn to do, that might be your purpose. And if it is, you'll find a way to do it. You'll check it out. There's all kinds of information online. What can you do to help people who are grieving? Uh, and so follow that. So she said, these are close friends, and I am helping as best I can. 2 people are on hospice. Then, as best you can, allow yourself to meditate daily, Johnny, because every day you need to replenish your energy. And when you meditate and let the divine light pour through the top of your head and down through all of your chakra system and out your feet, out your fingertips, when you allow that cleansing energy, it helps you to stop the pain of sorrow. Because sometimes that can be a blockage for you to be able to raise your emotions up into joy. And that's what you need to give to others, is that sense of joyfulness that you'll meet them again, that there is life goes on, it doesn't end. And then again, we have in the book, Raphael, we have about death and dying in the very back. And it is really important that you look at that as well. And we'll probably talk about it. It's chapter 21 in the book. I'll show you. It shows a cemetery. And that's toward the end because I'm in my 80s and I'm facing that door into the next world. And maybe not for a while yet, but you never know. And I'm certainly ready. And I know you are, Johnny, because you have that faith in knowing that this life doesn't end. Our spirit self takes off and goes to the next dimension. And so, dear ones, know that you are a spirit first, a physical body second. Johnny says she has the book. She'll look at that chapter. I think it might help you a lot because when you help people to see that this is only one stage of their soul's journey through understanding physical worlds, you see, we come here to explore a physical world. We take on a spacesuit that's called a physical body so that we can live on the atmosphere of Earth. And we come back many times until we've explored this planet as much as we can. And because this is a planet of polarities, we're constantly being swayed back and forth between good and evil, hot and cold. And right now it's quite hot in Florida, and up and down and all of it. And even these people that are taking their own spaceships and going into space, they had a goal, they had a purpose, and they have had the delightful experience of following that purpose through to fruition. And so, congratulations to them. And do look it up because it's a pretty exciting thing that people are learning how to go off into space on their own. If you want to take a journey, it's like $250,000. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in going off into space. I can get pretty spacey at times just trying to figure out what Raphael is saying to me. And so, dear ones, you can take your trip into space by going in your astral body and learning to astral travel. That's what that is called. Astral is in the stars. Your spirit body is a duplicate of you, looks exactly like you. And every night when you sleep, it leaves your physical body and goes where it wants to go. So you can go off into space and you'll come back with dreams about space. Not because it was a dream, but because it was more than likely a reality with your spirit body. There's so much more to life on this planet than you realize. You are an astronaut in a physical body suit. You are exploring planet Earth. You are exploring the pull of those polarities. You're having highs, you're having lows. You're having ins, you're having outs. You're in it sometimes and you're out of it other times. That's part of the exploration of planet Earth, and your soul has created your physical body, your spacesuit, to come here to Earth to explore the highs and lows and ins and outs of this planet. So look at your life with the purpose of being an explorer. Look at your life as saying, okay, how do I get to be happy? What do I have to do to be happy? And it isn't winning the lottery. It's simply changing your mind about what makes you unhappy. If it is something you can do nothing about, let it go. Don't butt your head against a brick wall. If you can't change another person because you believe that person can make you happy, then let it go. Let the person go. Let them be perfect just the way they are. And if you can't tolerate that perfection, then maybe that person needs to be out of your life. I just saw a message and I don't know what I'm being told. I'm being told that I'm running out of time. That's probably what I'm being told. Thank you. I see I have 3 minutes left and it's probably, oops, I'm time to wrap up. God bless all of you. We love you. Come back again. And please tell people about our book. And please have a happy day and decide to be happy. Bye for now. Thank you.